For today's card, I wanted to create a little garden scene as if a golden trellis is resting on an old textured stone wall, with vines and blooms growing around it. Let's bring this scene to life. Hello friends, Mehnaz here. Welcome back to my Secret Garden series. I already did some die cutting off camera from the trailing trellis die set in the Secret Garden kit. I used the small trellis and outer die and detail die to die cut the trellis from brushed gold cardstock. I also die cut two sets of blooms and flower centers from the vines and blooms die set. The blooms were cut from white cardstock and the flower centers from brushed gold cardstock. For the vines, I used the Creative Cut Houseplants or layering dies and die cut them 4 times from white cardstock. To start building the scene, I placed the small trellis die without the outer die onto an A2 sized panel. I aligned it towards the left side and centered it horizontally because I wanted part of the stone wall to remain visible. We will use the golden trellis later to place it on top of the open trellis cut from the panel later. Now, to create the wall texture, I used the stone wall stencil from Altenew. I rolled some tape onto itself and placed it behind the panel, then secured the panel onto my mat so it would not move when working with this stencil. I also secured the stencil using some masking tape on my mat as well. For the trellis opening, I masked it using a piece of printer paper that I cut with the outer die from the trellis set. Then I used the warm grey fresh dye ink bundle to lightly add color through the stencil. After that, I applied embossing paste over the stenciled area. The idea is that once the paste dries, the soft grey color underneath will show through and give the wall more depth. After applying an even layer of paste, I used my palette knife to add a little uneven texture so the wall would look more like a real stone. I also cleaned the edges of the panel with my fingers to remove excess paste. While the paste was drying, I moved on to coloring the vines and the blooms. For the 2 sets of vines, I used the Frosted Foliage Fresh Dye inks, and for the other 2 sets, I used the Forest Trail Fresh Dye ink bundle. I started with the lightest color in each family and gradually built up the color. I was not too careful with the ink blending because I wanted some natural variation throughout the vines. As you can see here, this is our frosted foliage leaves, and now I am doing the same step using the Forest Trail Fresh Dye ink bundle. After coloring the vines, I moved with the coloring of the blooms. For the blooms, I used the pale mauve and amethyst from the Sugar Plum family to ink blend 1 set of the blooms, and the other set is left white. After ink blending, I used my Pico tool, which by the way mine is not from Altenew, to add some dimension to the flowers. I gently curled the petals away from me and around the tool to add a little dimension. Then I glued the brushed gold centers onto the flowers. At this point, The paste was not dry, so I used my heat gun to heat set it. Just keep in mind that heat setting embossing paste can create a smell, so it is better to work in a well ventilated area. Once the paste was dry, I used the same warm grey ink to add more shading to the stone wall. I lightly ink blended over the paste with a mini ink blending tool. The ink can take a little time to dry on top of the paste, so you can heat set it again if needed. Now it's time to assemble our card. I glued the golden trellis over the trellis opening, offsetting it slightly so that a little bit of the white trellis cut out could peek from behind. Then I arranged and glued the vines and blooms around the trellis, letting them climb over the wall to bring the garden to a scene life. For the sentiment, I used the Secret Garden Honorable Sentiments stamp and die set. I stamped and die cut the sentiment. A quick note to say you are loved using Obsidian black ink. I placed the sentiment at the bottom of the center of the card, and here it is our finished card. A textured stone wall with a golden trellis, soft vines, and delicate blooms, like a little hidden corner from the secret garden. Let me know in the comments if you liked this card. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more card inspiration. I'm sharing more videos and playlists here on the screen so you can keep watching for more ideas. All products used are linked in the description below, including affiliate links at no extra cost to you. Until next time, from my desk to yours, happy crafting! Bye bye!